So welcome to my review of the Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, it's 2 weeks later. We've had the Switch 2, and I've been trying out everything and playing all of the games, and I really want to do a definitive review of this system. And I'll ask you guys, have you picked up the Nintendo Switch 2? Is it living up to your expectations? What games are you playing? Are you playing Mario Kart World? Are you playing a third-party game? Let me know down below. Now, it's hard to believe that we got this system 8 years ago, a system that would change the world, and it did change the world. It changed the way we played video games at home and on the go. It was a remarkable machine, and then they announced the Switch 2. And I got to try it out at the Nintendo Switch 2 experience. And I really like the hardware, I really like playing Mario Kart World, and I even got to try out Metroid Prime 4, which is really fascinating. But I wanted to have this at home and have that home experience, so I filmed myself just taking it out and having a look at it. Okay, so we took the Switch out here, and just like when I was at the Switch 2 experience, I love the magnetics here. Really, really strong stuff. And of course we have this at the back, which I dig. I really like that the Switch 2 is a little bit bigger. And it's interesting. I can't wait. I'm going to get Kim's thoughts on it in a bit as well, because she always plays in handheld mode, so it'll be interesting to see what she has to say. And we're just going to open up the box here. I already opened it up to take the Switch 2 out. And let's see what else we got going on here. Alrighty. Got a little manual here. HDMI and Joy-Con grips as well. And oh yes, we always have to have one of these to attach it. The Joy-Cons too, for an extra controller. And power supply, always important. And the cord for the power supply. Very happy to see that. And the dock. You know, it's so funny when I look back now. I remember with the Switch 1, I was like, I thought the Switch 1 was the dock. And I didn't realize that it was all in the handheld mode. So very cool. This is stronger. I haven't seen this yet. This is interesting. A lot stronger. And let's just put this in. And which way do we go? I think we go. Is it this way? Or this way? How's that seem? These are my initial thoughts on it. Good. You know, it's never as snug as I would want it. Even with the Switch 1, it's never as snug as I would want it. Just want to kind of go in and just not move back and forth like that. But still a very sturdy dock. And yeah, looking cool. I gotta say, for initial impressions, I do love the different colors. How we go from an orange and a blue here. I really like that. And so, yeah, I'm gonna go hook this up. So yes, I like the hardware itself. I think it's really sturdy. I love the big screen. The screen is really, really nice. And then I invited Kim in to check it out a while ago. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? Because she's always playing in handheld mode. Okay, so this is a very big moment.
It is.
Yeah, because Kim finally gets to see the Nintendo Switch 2. Here you go.
Ooh, that's slick.
What do you think?
It's slick. It feels nice.
Yeah.
It's. I love the screen size.
Yeah, the screen size is bigger.
But it feels very top heavy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. I hadn't noticed. I just kind of thought it was heavy, but you think it's top heavy.
I feel like it's top heavy, which is kind of weird. Like the weight isn't even throughout.
Right. Now I wanted Kim's reaction to this because she plays in handheld mode more than any human being that I know. Oh. So I was kind of interested to see what you thought of this, the overall design.
Overall, it's beautiful. Yeah, no, I can't wait to steal it away from you.
So after our first thoughts about the hardware itself, it was down to business. And the business of transferring all of my games from my Switch 1 into my Switch 2. And I want to say, this was really, really easy to go into both systems and to transfer my data over. I couldn't believe how user-friendly it was. It was really as easy as transferring from a PS4 to a PS5, and I really enjoyed that. And I bought myself a 256 gigabyte SD card right here. And I thought, man, I need to put this in for some extra memory. And it was really cool. When I was going through the menus, it was telling you, hey, if you have an extra memory card, put it in now. And that's what I did with the SD card. I put it in, and then it began transferring over all of the data on all of my games. And I just sat back, and it all did it in probably about 10 to 15 minutes. And I was like, well, that was simple. Look at that. It's linked them both, and I just hit start download. So we're downloading from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2. And at that point, it was a big build-up, and it was interesting to see where the new cartridges go and where the SD cards go, and just kind of got me ready for the entire experience. Well, look at that. Everything is transferred over. Isn't that really cool? I love it. That's so simple. So simple. Now I can start playing some games. And then I brought out the brand new Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. And what do I think of this controller? I'm going to hold it up really close here, just so we can get a nice look at it. I gotta say, I really like the coloring. I like the black and the gray going on here. And I brought in the old Nintendo Switch 1 controller. And what do we see here? They're both nearly identical. Obviously, the Switch 2 has a few more buttons and it has the game chat button, but practically they're nearly identical. It just feels really nice, and I love these new little additions of the buttons right here. I pulled out the camera, I attached this as well, and that was quite simple. I just plugged it into the top, put it in front of my TV, and I'm like, okay, we got a camera, let's go.
Push left or right when you let go of the jump. That's how you do a wall jump.
So after getting everything set up, it was time to play some games finally, and the very first game I put in was Mario Kart World. Now, I remember reviewing the original Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with Vic for the Nintendo Switch 1 8 years ago, and I can't believe so much time has gone on already, and we're back with a brand new Mario Kart game. And I want to say that I loved 8 Deluxe so very, very much that I said it was a 10 out of 10 game. And it definitely was. And especially with all the DLC they added over the years, it really added a lot of content to that game, and it was just a stellar game. So what do I think about Mario Kart World? Where I jumped in, and I just want to say, I played through all the 50cc modes on all of the tracks. I always do that with every single Mario Kart to begin with, and then I go into 100, and then to 150, and unlock all of those. And I want to say, there's a lot of strategy to this game. There's a lot to this game. And even in the footage I captured, this is just me learning the game. At this point, just figuring it all out. And then it started to click. And I realized, oh my God, this game is really in depth. There's a lot of things you can do. Jumping onto walls, grinding rails. There's a lot to this. And also the levels are so gigantic that there's so many different paths through any given level that there's a lot to learn. And I think there's a lot to learn in the first 5 hours, never mind the first 10 hours. And I am still learning. And in fact, when I was playing the game, I'm like, wait a second. After a whole bunch of races, I was like, oh my God, that antenna's on. And I forgot about turning that off in 8 Deluxe 8 years ago, because that stops you from going off the tracks. And I'm like, no, there's no fear with that. So I eventually turned that off. I don't think I captured any footage without it, but I figured that out eventually. And there's a great amount of racers and a great amount of vehicles to unlock, and I was enjoying just going through the game, unlocking those. But my favorite mode from the Nintendo Switch 2 experience and to here is knockout mode, because there's just so many players. I just want to say that I went online for my first few hours, and I'm like, oh my God, I got destroyed. And I'm like, I need to really figure out the wall jumps and the grinding, because that's the key to this game. But going online was really, really easy, really, really fun. It was great to get into a game and just see everybody appearing and it's all racing. That was fun. The losing part wasn't so good though. And I always love it when my character has the crown when I'm racing. My daughter came in, she's like, oh my God, Daddy, you have a crown on. I'm like, that's because I'm winning right now. So that was a bit of fun. Now, this is one game that I really wanted to try out, the camera, and I did with my friend Jay. And we were racing around, just learning different things. He was teaching me a lot about the game. And I gotta say this, the camera's okay. The camera's okay. What really impressed me though was the audio coming from the system, and it's listening to my voice, and it's kind of getting rid of all the background noise, and us talking back and forth was really, really good.
If you just jump and hold the jump without turning, you'll do like a power jump.
But the camera itself just kept cutting off my beard, the top of my head, and the bottom of my head, and there really was no reason for it to do that, but it was doing that, and the quality of it was okay. I kind of thought it was fun to hang out with my friend and run around with the game chat on, and just to be chatting and playing together. I really liked that aspect of it. Was I impressed? No, I wasn't impressed with the camera mode at all. Unfortunately, I thought, oh my goodness, like it's okay, it's so low res, and I understand, especially playing online, we have voice chat and video chat. The compression there is kind of mixed up a little bit, especially with the video, but it's kind of interesting that you can do this.
What happened to your video?
And I'll be getting back to Mario Kart World for my final thoughts in this video right at the end. But I just wanted to move on to some other games. Yes, there's some other big third-party games like Cyberpunk, Split Fiction, Street Fighter 6, and I jumped into Street Fighter 6. And can you tell that it's just a straight port? Yes. Is it as good as the PS5 version? No. Is it a great version on its own? It's not bad. If you don't have a PS5 and you have a Nintendo Switch 2, this is not a bad way to go. And I'll do a side-by-side comparison. I played on the PS5 and I played on the Switch 2 to give you a slight point of reference of the different looks to each version of it. I say it's pretty good. It's close. It's not perfect, but it's close. It's a competent port. But where it really shines out is in portable mode. When I got that thing on my lap playing it, I thought this is great because it kind of compresses the resolution, right? Because it's on a smaller screen, and it looks really, really good. And I really enjoyed playing it that way. And it's kind of impressive what they did with Cyberpunk and Split Fiction as well. I thought they both were decent ports of it. I'll give Cyberpunk a big thumbs up because they put the entire game on the cartridge. I think that was really, really cool of them to do. And so if you've never played Cyberpunk by now, I know it's been a few years, it's a great way to play it as well. Is it as great as playing on other systems, higher up systems? Probably not. And then I got to try out Welcome Tour. Yes, the controversial Welcome Tour, the game that I still think to this day should have been built into the system itself. It should have been there, so everybody can go in and play this and figure out how to use your Nintendo Switch 2. It's really unusual to have to buy something to teach you how to play it and to learn all the functionalities of it. And it's something that's a novelty for sure, to use the mouse controls and all of that. I was doing all of that. I think it's an interesting thing. It would have been amazing if it was built in. It would have been amazing, and it would really have pumped up the Switch 2 quite a bit to have that functionality built within. And then we get to the GameCube. And this was a really interesting thing for me to play with the Switch 2 GameCube controller. And I've often said it's Nintendo's strangest controller. I remember when I got my GameCube and I was trying it out, I was like, look at the D-pad, it's so small. And the analog, it's so small. But the one thing is I adapted to this controller quite well in the GameCube days, and I loved it. And so this was really exciting to try this out with some GameCube games. And the first game I got to try out was F-Zero. Now, people have been clamoring for an F-Zero remake or a sequel over the years, where I gotta say, I have this on the, upscaled on the FrameMeister on my GameCube, and I gotta say, this really looks great. And playing this is fantastic. Switch it to widescreen mode, you'll be in absolute heaven. And I was playing this game, the speed, it took me a second to learn the controls again because it's been quite a few years. I used to be doing speed runs of this all the time back in the day. I used to be really good at it. And so it was taking me a little bit to get back into the fold with it. But boy, really cool to play F-Zero again and to see that speed. And then I jumped into Wind Waker, and this is a beloved classic on the GameCube. I bought it day one back in the day. I finished it within a week and a half, and I adored it. And I know it was controversial because of Link's new look back then, the Zelda, style of it all, but I love it. And I really had a good time playing my little bit with it. And I just want to say something though. They've done it again. I don't know why Nintendo keeps on doing this. The borders on both sides of the screen, because these games are 4x3. I want to turn those off. And is there an option that I'm missing? You guys can tell me. In my time, I couldn't find the option to do that, and it was really, really frustrating. I hate the borders. I just want black borders on there. I set it for the Switch 1. Just give us some black borders on there, and they give us this filter look. And it really kind of takes me out of the game, and I hope that's something that they patch or do something different with in the future and change that. I'll give you another option. And I got to try some Switch 1 games on the Switch 2. I got to try Astral Chain, one of my favorites on the Switch 1. This game totally sold me on the hardware back then. And I gotta say, it looks great on the Switch 2. And I was like marveling at it, and I was like, you know what? We're always looking for the next biggest, greatest thing. And I'm playing a Switch 1 game on the Switch 2 and going, this game was phenomenal back then. And it's beautiful to see Astral Chain again. And I swear it plays better. It feels like it plays a lot better. I also put in Ease 8 because I couldn't help myself. I put in Ease 8 and was running around, and I thought that looked really nice as well compared to how it did on the Switch 1. It feels like it's a small amount enhanced. That may be just my eyes. I'll ask you guys, are some of those games I just mentioned, are they enhanced? It felt like they were. I haven't checked anybody else's reviews or anything online. I'm just kind of taking it all in for myself. Let me know. And let me know also as well, what are some other great Switch 1 games that play better on the Switch 2? Let me know down below. And now I get into my final thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. We're finally here. We were waiting for this machine for a while, and I'm gonna talk about my final thoughts on it right now. I want to say it's really nice to see Nintendo games in 4K. I gotta say that playing Mario Kart World on my big screen TV was a sight to behold, and I really enjoyed that experience. And I really enjoyed it with the brand new Pro controller. I think it's an excellent controller, one of the best that Nintendo has ever created. It really is. My favorite controller of all time is the PS5 controller, but this is really up there as well. A fantastic controller. For playing GameCube games, this works extremely well, and because it basically is the Nintendo GameCube controller, and I love it, and it works really, really well. What else have we got here? We have the camera. This was a bit of a letdown. Maybe with some party games, it can come to life with me. But right now, I don't love it. I love the sound of it. It sounds really good talking to other friends. Maybe when I get some more friends in Mario Kart playing together and I can see everybody in the bottom of the screen, that will be good. But right now, it's a bit of a miss for me. Also, something else that's a bit of a miss for me is the game key cards themselves. The first party ones by Nintendo themselves, I love them because the entire game is on there. It's the third party ones that really, really suck. It really, really hurts because unlike most of them, Cyberpunk is one of the few that is on the cartridge itself, but all of the rest of them are not. You need to put it into a Switch 2 and download the game. Now, what if I gave a game key card to a friend of mine who lives in a rural town and said, here you go for the weekend, play this game, and he or she puts it in, and they're like, I don't have the internet over here. My internet's really weak. and they can't download the game, so therefore they don't have the game. Now, I understand that a lot of other companies are doing this. PS5, Xbox, they've been doing this for years. Nintendo was the last vigil of a company that was not putting everything for download. All of the games were usually on the cartridges, and that's what made the Switch 1 such a great collectible system. And this one is kind of like, oh no, we're not doing that. And I understand they're trying to save money on that aspect of things, but it really hurts the consumers because we really like the physicality of the Nintendo Switch. And yes, we know that Sony does it their way and Xbox does it their way, but Nintendo was always the physical media company. And for them to say, not anymore, it's tough. And I just want to say, for full transparency, in the future, will I be reviewing and talking about game key cards? I have to, because I have a video game show. And it hurts me, guys, it does, because I always like buying a game and having it right there on the shelf. And what are my thoughts on Mario Kart World? I've been playing a lot of it, and I've been getting steadily better. It took me a little bit to learn all of the ins and outs and all of the skills that you need to have to play this game, and there's a lot. And I got online to see some players who are unbelievable, and I'm like, what's going on here? What do I think of the game? I don't like it as much as Deluxe, 8 Deluxe on the Switch 1, but I think it's a very, very good game. Why is that, though? There's something about the size of the worlds, and it's really cool to be driving through these worlds. Sometimes they just feel overly big, and sometimes it just feels like it's really missing some of that Nintendo charm when you're just driving for a while to get to the next world section. And you know, there's a lot of things you can do with the skills in the game and all that, but it just kind of misses it for me. And the speed, it doesn't feel as fast as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Is that just me? Let me know down below what you guys think. Am I loving it? Yeah, I think it's a great kart racing game, but I like Deluxe more. And I don't know if that's nostalgia speaking. When I first played it on the Switch all those years ago, and I was like, wow, because I've said it was a 10 out of 10 game. And this, for me, is an 8.5, 8 out of 10 game. But it's a really, really great game. And I think for anybody who's looking for the next big kart racing game, you'll get it. And there's a lot to learn in the game. And I think even after 20 hours, you'll still be learning so much in the game. So there's a lot of play value in there. Now, one thing that was unusual that I was able to do, I didn't mean to do it with the Switch 2, was I was able to make the console freeze. And how I froze the console is I went into the GameCube app right here, and this is before I signed up for the membership to get the games. And so I went in there and I picked Wind Waker and it froze the system. And you have to actually restart your console. You have to turn it off and turn it on again. And I pressed every single button and it just wouldn't come back to life. I couldn't activate it any single way. I've completely frozen the entire machine. I don't know what happened. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I was able to do it multiple times. So hopefully they patched that. So if you go into the GameCube app and you don't have a membership for Nintendo at that point, and you click on one of the games, you can actually freeze the system. It did for me anyways. Isn't that interesting? Wow. I got to do a hard restart on this. Amazing. Crazy. But overall, am I happy with the Nintendo Switch 2? I am. I'm enjoying Mario Kart World. Do I want more? Yes, I'm looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I'm looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 and the future of Mario. I can't wait for that. So there's a lot to be excited about, because you can also just use this system and go in and get all your Nintendo Switch 1 games and play on this system as backwards compatibility, and a lot of them are enhanced, and that is an amazing thing, and I love that aspect of it. So all of your Switch 1 games, most of them, there's some that are not compatible, will play on your Switch 2, and I really like that aspect of it.
What? You've got to be kidding me!
The Switch 1 was one of the greatest consoles of all time, and I loved it. And I think Nintendo looked at that console and thought, everybody loves this. Let's just do a more powerful version of that hardware. And that's what we have here. This is basically a Switch Pro. It looks pretty much exactly like the original system, which is great because we love the original system, and we have a bit more power. So that's what you're getting with this console. And right now, I'm having a good time. I'm sitting on my patio on an evening, playing Mario Kart and having a great time. What do you guys think of the Nintendo Switch 2? Has it lived up to your expectations or has it not? Are you waiting to get one later on? Are you waiting for the price to drop? Are you waiting for some better games? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.